Hi, and welcome to Catching Up with the Coalition, our annual live call-in show. We are so excited. I am here with Carissa and Susie. Hello, folks.
Hello. Hello, hello.
Susie looks so excited.
I am.
Sorry, Carissa and I are doing the right thing and wearing our masks to limit our exposure from COVID. So forgive us that you can't see our whole faces, but we're trying to take care of each other and do the right thing. So
I'm just going to breathe on y'all.
Susie apparently is going to breathe on all of us. So very cool. Carissa, you will see, has a computer in front of her, and so do I, but she is managing a Facebook Live for this evening as well.
I am trying to get it up and running now.
All right, so we're going to have that too. And we will make sure that anybody who's watching knows that the call-in number, if you want to chat with us, is 664-4408. It's up there on the screen. Susie's got the power of the button tonight. So Susie,
Explain the power of the button.
explain.
Explain, Carissa.
Carissa.
So I was taught the power of the button. So you know me, always showing up early here. So that little screen there, if we get a call, will blink.
Okay.
It'll say the word call.
Okay.
And then the power is in your hands. You are to answer the call.
Yep.
And then if someone says they don't like my hair, that's how you drop the call. Okay? I mean,
You can say-
we end the call politely, right? And that is how you drop the call. And that is it. That is it. That is the power of the
So
button.
do not touch the black on/off button.
Nope, and
Do
no
not
and no
touch
making
that.
phone
Just
calls.
touch the orange or the red. I gotcha.
All right, we got this. So very exciting tonight. We have been doing this. I think this is our third or fourth.
Something like that.
It's hard to remember. It might be our third or fourth year doing this. It's just another way of our team at NBCC gathering information from the community for our annual community assessment. So what we're really hoping is folks will give us a call. Let us know the things that you want us to be talking about this year. What are your concerns, the things you think our community really needs to focus on? But also we'd love to hear, what do you think is great about this community? What do you love about living here in North Berkshire? What are some things you'd like to learn more about in our forums? All good stuff. So that is what we're hoping for. But in the meantime, before our first person calls us, I'm going to look at Susie, because you brought a whole bunch of stuff with you. It looks like announcements.
I like to come prepared so that if we do start talking about things, I have information in front of me.
Sweet.
That is what I like to do. But we can talk about some of it.
Well, someone will lift it up while you. So
for it.
if you haven't seen these yet, out in the community, there are these large posters Susie has been designing for us that puts a whole month of events at your fingertips. So you will find these in all kinds of locations locally. That's another great thing. If you call the number and you say, hey, Coalition, here's a great place to put one of those posters, we would love to hear from you on where our information should go so that you will see it. But they're very cool. Good job, Susie.
Thanks.
So what do we got? Anything
coming up
fun?
in September. Well, first of all, before September, well, tonight we're doing our live call-in show. But on Monday, we have a free with a complimentary dinner.
Yes.
It's an online internet safety presentation by Operation 250 in coordination with Coalition. It's going to be happening at Greylock Works. We have plenty of space for more folks to register. We're recommending it for anyone in the community that knows youth. We're welcoming adults, educators, parents, caregivers, relatives. If you know youth in the community, we would love you to be there because the internet is a big, wild place that I think we're less in tune with than our kids are.
Yes.
I know I am. And we're also recommending it for youth ages 14 and older. They're also welcome to attend. You can call us at the office at 663-7588 or email us. I don't know the best way to show you guys the link. So I would say call us.
Yeah,
for the best
calling
way.
us is probably
So
the
yeah,
best way.
413-663-7588 during regular office hours. Leave a message and we will sign you up for it. It is free to attend. It is Monday. Dinner is being served from 5 to 5:30, and the presentation begins at 5:30 and goes to 7:30. It's an important conversation. I know very little, a lot less than my 3 children do about what's happening online. So it's an important conversation. You get a meal out of it.
Yeah, we're very excited. Firehouse Cafe, the new owners of Firehouse Cafe in Adams will be catering for us. So it's bound to be
It's a loud,
very active,
active thing happening outside.
I think it's active transportation.
I think it might be the biker club across the street.
Oh, the sound of
the
transportation
doppelgangers.
in North Berkshire. Regardless, Firehouse Cafe is going to be doing the food for us, so it's bound to be yummy. There's going to be lots of information and takeaways. This is a big deal. Operation 250, it's Tyler Cody. He's a local, originally a local for North Adams, and we're excited to hear what they have to say. And actually, he gave us a little info that there's going to be some time together, and then there's going to be breakout sessions. So youth will break out separately from adults to talk about, internet and all of that stuff and using online things.
Yeah, and it's in the Greylock workspace, which is a huge space.
Yes.
So if you have concerns about being in indoor spaces with crowds, this is actually a very large space. I think you'll feel comfortable in there, and you're welcome to mask up if that makes you more comfortable.
Yep, we have 100 seats, so we would love to see them full and make sure that Tyler and his group really get to spread the word and all of the work that they've been doing. So it's bound to be a lot of fun.
That's true.
And Susie and I will be there. So.
And I'll be there.
And Carissa will be there.
I just registered today because
there you go.
as somebody who did youth support work and was building my curriculum today for the middle school program, I realized I wanted to do a whole section on internet safety and social media and the effects of it on our mental health and all that. And I was like, well, this is a free opportunity. I get to kind of get some extra info in, and so I'll be there too.
Yeah, and I think even for myself, I have 3 kids. My youngest is about to turn 9, and for her especially, she likes to play Roblox and all these things where she's meeting people virtually, but she feels like they're her friends. And we try to talk about, unless you know this person in real life, I really don't want you friending them. And, please don't ever use your real name. Please don't ever tell your address. Please don't ever tell real information about yourself. But I can't, she's a kid. I remember how I was a kid. I don't know that that sinks in. I don't know what she's getting herself into. And she'll be like, well, but this person knows this person even if I don't know them. And it's still kind of scary. So I'm looking forward to learning a bit more about how I could be a better parent in that way and still let her do technology in a way that I will never understand.
I think it's also a great space to talk about how we can have these conversations with the youth in our life without making it fear-based.
Yeah.
Right, to have some really honest conversations without, boo, scary man on the computer, right?
Yeah.
Of course there are those things, and we obviously want to keep our young people informed and safe, but we also want to acknowledge that, real conversations are what work best, I think. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity.
Bound to be some fun conversations for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Indeed. All
Well,
right.
so then once we get into
we have any-
September.
I was just going to ask Carissa if we have any viewers online yet.
It looks like we have 5 viewers on Facebook Live. For folks, just to reiterate what Amber said, I swear I'm not ignoring you all here. We have Facebook Live up here because we figured that this is another way in which we can reach the community. So always feel like you can call the number below. But if you are a more tech-savvy person and want to comment on Facebook, we are live right now.
Cool.
We're up and running.
Thanks, Carissa.
664-4408.
Ooh,
Call us with your thoughts.
And you put that up on the Facebook Live so folks can call if they want to.
I did, yes.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Susie, what's up for September? Because unfortunately, we are not that far away from September.
We're not. September is next week.
It's right around the corner.
Next Thursday?
It is next
Right?
Thursday.
So
Yes.
September 1st is next Thursday.
Wild to me.
So the first event that I have on here is September 7th at Greylock Elementary School from 5 to 6:30. There is a bike rodeo and bike safety workshop. It is outdoors. They're super fun. Kids should bring their bike and their helmets. If they don't have a helmet, we can provide one for free if they register ahead of time and let us know that. This is not limited to just Greylock Elementary School children. This is also any K through 8 kids in the Northern Berkshire school system are welcome to come to this event. It should be lots of fun. Hopefully the weather is lovely. Again, register by calling us 413-663-7588, or if you see one of the posters, there is a QR code that you can scan and register online. Both work.
I think the next one is the most exciting. Only because every year this is the start of like the season for me, right? Like everybody loves the start of a sports season. For me, it's the start of forum season.
Yeah, which sometimes feels like the start of a sports season.
It is absolutely a sport in the coalition office. So much like this, the call-in show is the indicator every year that we're getting close to the first forum of our programming year. Hi, Facebook Live. I got to go this way.
Yeah.
There we are. Friday, September 9th, which is the second Friday of the month, from 10 to 12 at the Terra Nova Church Space, which is 85 Main Street here in North Adams. We will gather as a team and basically open up this space and invite people from the community to come in and, again, do exactly what we're doing tonight. Tell us what things we need to know, what things we should be talking about, what are you concerned about, what are you loving about living here, all of it. We take that information back. We put it all together as best we can into a short list, usually between 10 and 15 like main themes, and we send it back out to anybody who came to the forum or to the community at large for about a week or two. We try not to have it out there too long. And we ask you guys to vote on it. Tell us what are the top 3 or 4 things that you want to talk about or hear about. And then that's how we set our schedule for the year. So it really, our forum topics are truly community chosen. It's very rare that we as an organization say, here is something we're gonna talk about. It does happen when something big comes up. Yeah. But for the most part, we know when that happens, the community's talking about it already. So we need to stay ahead of the curve. So yeah, so that's coming up. And our forum season, our sports season, if you will.
We really speak, Amber's not just making jokes, like I feel like we genuinely call it forum season.
I do, yes.
And you know, if you want to do sports metaphors, you know, picking your forum topics is like picking your fantasy team,
Yes.
right? I'm just saying, play to win.
We could take this all the way tonight.
Yeah, I grew up a football girl. I could do this for the rest of the night. You're good.
Yeah, I'm more hockey or soccer. I can't really do football.
Grew up a big. I love football.
Although Ferris just joined the soccer team out of the blue, so like.
There you go.
Good for Ferris.
Too.
No, you're a
Oh,
soccer
I
mom.
was gonna say Amber is definitely a soccer
Yeah,
fan.
I know that, and a hockey mom.
And a hockey mom. But we will at the first forum have a schedule that we can hand out to folks. We'll post it so people know ahead of time when our forums are for the whole year, which for us is September through May. As always, January is not a forum month. That is the month we do the Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, which Carissa, Liz, and a whole bunch of volunteers plan for us, and we're always super grateful for that work. And June is our annual meeting. We definitely don't like to ask people to come in for a meeting during July and August because we're all just trying to enjoy the sunshine. And then we get back at it again in September. So we're here. We're ready to start talking to folks, getting people back together and seeing what things we can tackle in this new year. So it's pretty exciting.
And one of the things that I've always loved about the forums is in the beginning, everyone introduces themselves so you know who you're talking to and who's around the room. It takes a little while, but it's a good
It
thing.
does.
And then people can make announcements. So maybe, you know, you glazed over the million newsletters in your inbox or, you know,
Email
flyers or whatever.
Yeah.
But having people in front of you talking about what's important to them that's coming up in the work that they do, I think it's a really great way to connect with folk and network. And that's one of the things I always liked about it.
Yeah, I mean, the networking piece, when I first came to the coalition 12 years ago, so weird. I think I can't even tell you how many people I exchanged emails with before I ever met them, and the forum was the place that I was always like, oh, that's who you are. Awesome, now I get to meet you in person. Yeah. And that really is that space. It's also a space for not just the providers in the community, although I feel like historically that has been our largest crowd of people, but it is truly about people who live, work, and play here. So if you are someone who lives on Houghton Street or lives in Adams next to Renfrew Park or in Williamstown on Cole Ave or wherever, you are welcome in that space because you are part of this community and we want to hear from you and have you participate. Some of the best volunteers that we have seen have come from people who said, hey, I just want to help. I just want to get involved. And that's a great place to do that. I have like 2 cameras to look at.
There we go.
I feel like a superstar.
It's a little hard to maintain all of the cameras at once. I feel like, I feel like I'm like doing a lot of this tonight.
Well, and the forums, like, they jump around a bit as far as, like, I know that it was always 10 to noon, because I remember when I first started the board back in maybe 2009, I asked, like, I run a store, I can't attend 10 to noon because I'm at work.
Yeah.
And so I actually enjoyed it as, like, a resident who, like, I do now, but I didn't work in social services, like, having some of the forums in the evenings from 5 to 7 where, like, if you have a regular 9 to 5, you can come to the forums as a resident that doesn't work in social services to talk about the issues.
Yeah, we've tried a couple different schedules and timing pieces, and what we've landed on for this year, just also because we're trying to combat the impact of COVID. And I think, I don't know about
us all.
Right, it has. I don't know about anybody else, but I like now trying to schedule in-person meetings. It's like I forgot how to do it and manage a schedule that includes driving somewhere or being outside of my office.
Agreed.
And so as we're relearning this and re-implementing that, so we're going to have some consistency, but we do want to have the opportunity. So September through December, February are all second Fridays from 10 to 12. And then March, April, and May, because the weather's a little nicer and it's a little lighter out in the evening, we'll shift to those evening 5 to 7 forums just to give people opportunities. And we use that also to figure out how to determine what topic. So if we have a topic that really is community driven or impacting, we really want to engage the community that is beyond sort of the human service world or the folks that can kind of escape work for a couple hours, we're going to move that topic to that 5 to 7 time in the spring. So we might have to wait a little while to talk about it, but it does give us the opportunity to engage more folks at the table. So like I said, we're trying out some new things, trying to find a schedule that works and really engages the broadest population of folks, but we'll see. It's new and different.
I like it. I like new and different.
Carissa, any comments or things on Facebook?
Just people saying hello.
Oh, nice.
Hi, guys.
Slowly logging in. I know this is kind of a funny time because it is absolutely beautiful out.
I know
It is.
So we're also fighting against the beautiful weather, but really anybody who sees the number below that's watching us live or is seeing us on Facebook, please do drop your ideas. Even if you just want to give a little shout out to something you got to experience this summer that you really, really enjoyed. Ideas for the September Forum are going to be huge, especially if you know you can't be there that morning. This is a great way to let us know what you're thinking.
You can also sit outside anywhere.
Yeah.
And,
Call us. Is that us?
I don't know.
So.
I don't
It's
know.
not flashing.
It's
so.
not
It's not
flashing
flashing
but
yet.
It is true. If you are outside, you can still call. Or your handy dandy cell phone or whatever you have. Tell us about
We're the only ones that have to be indoors.
That's true. We are.
We're doing this.
Unless you still have a landline.
We love you.
Unless you still have a landline. Portable phone, though, right?
Still, I think if you're anything like the rest of us, when you did have a landline, your cord was 100 feet long,
And
then
totally
the
tangled.
twirly thing was also 100 feet long, so you could take it outside.
It's true.
So take your
Are we
corded
dating?
phone
We might be
outside.
dating ourselves.
We're
right
old.
now.
It's
Yes,
cool.
it's true.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, we have a call.
We have a call. So call.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi, who's this?
this is Lindsay.
Hey, Lindsay.
I had a question for you, and that is I received a community resource guide in the mail, and I've been seeing it everywhere, but I know that there's a 2020 version. Can you tell me how it's different, how the 2022 is different from the 2020 version?
Oh, that's a great question, Lindsay. Thanks so much. We're going to actually end the call while we answer your question, so stay on.
Drop her.
Yep. Well, don't drop
like
Lindsay. We like Lindsay. Don't drop her. So yeah, we typically as an organization update our community resource guide every 2 to 3 years, depending on when funding is available and information flows in. So each year we are updating to make sure the information is current on location, services provided, phone numbers, emails, or web addresses. This year, we've added quite a bit of stuff to the community resource guide. There is a whole section now dedicated to LGBTQAI+ services that are specific for our community members in that population. There is a guide for recovery meetings in the community. There's also a vaccine guide. So fun information that you learn when you work in community health.
Yeah.
We all started talking about the COVID vaccine and how important that was and getting your boosters. And in that process, I learned that because our community is aging and we do have a lot of folks in that older population, we're living longer and we're neglecting to stay up to date on some of our really important vaccines. And so we decided to put a guide in our resource guide that tells people in this age group, here's some vaccines that you should probably get. Always remember, talk to your physician, ask your doctor. They're going to be able to tell you which ones you should have or which ones you need. But it's just a really good thing to remember. We're living longer, and some of our vaccines just don't last for us into our 70s and 80s because that's a new thing for our culture, which is awesome. But again, just that important health thing. So we did put that in there. Susie, what else is new?
I think you covered
Did I get them all?
the three main things that were new. Carissa, do you remember if there was anything else?
I don't, but we did get a question.
Those three definitely were.
If someone wants more guides, can we call your office to get some? What a great question.
Wow, guys, we have so many guides
So
that we
many.
would love to share with you.
And not
Plenty
just-
of boxes of guides.
And not just with you, but your organizations
Yep.
as well. So if you are a member of a congregation, if you volunteer somewhere, like give us a call or just drop by, and we're happy to give you a stack of them.
Yep.
Tell you, where some places might already have them. If you would like to do that for your neighborhood or your community,
100%.
I love that. I think it's a great way to make sure folks have access to this book.
And so the 2020 version was the first time the Coalition released our resource guide in English and Spanish, and it is again available in both English and Spanish. And a little nod to the Berkshire Immigrant Center and their fine folks there who did all of the translating services for us so that we could make that happen. I think we're still working on the formatting.
We're still, it'll
figuring it out, but there will
be
one.
ready to go to print, I think, by next week.
Okay.
So hopefully out by the end of September or October.
It's not quite as easy as it sounds to have things translated and then formatted, but we will have a version again in Spanish.
Yes.
And I think what's really interesting is that, like Lindsay, all people in North Berkshire, in your place of business and or your home should have received a copy. The Coalition mailed just shy of 18,000 copies.
It was a lot.
We have for years heard from folks like, oh, if someone just did a resource guide, and we're like, you know what, we have one. And so we decided the best way to get out information that we have one was to just simply mail them to you.
Yes.
And make sure you had one in your hand. So if you're watching and you didn't get one, or maybe your neighbor decided they needed two, however that works, just give us a call, let us know, and we will make sure we will mail one to you. We will find you, drop one off, whatever works best. But we do think it's important that people have these. And if you are an employer, as the Coalition is, we also find that sometimes our staff need things and have questions. And so just consider that this might be something you want to stick into staff locker room, staff, what do you, snack room, lunch room, I don't know what you call them, locker rooms, whatever it is, just to give your staff the ability, if they need something, they can sort of find it right there at their fingertips and not have to go digging for it. Or help people who come into your establishment as well. So,
Got another great question on Facebook, something that I think is important to highlight. If local businesses and organizations have people stop in asking for bus money, can NBCC help with things like that?
ooh, that's a great question.
It is a great question, and it's one we get often, actually.
It does. So like most folks, I think, know this already, but if not, we are a nonprofit agency, which means we are primarily funded through grants and donations. When the money is available, we often have a supply of bus passes and different ways of helping people with transportation, and so what we call it is emergency assistance. So if folks come in and they need to get to a job interview or a doctor's appointment or get their child to childcare so they can go to work or any of those things, and you know, it happens, plans fall through, you had a ride but they didn't show up.
Your
or
car
whatever.
breaks down.
Your car breaks down.
Oh, man.
Whatever it is, yes, we help with that. You can show up. We have this quick little thing to just track how we're using our bus passes and giving them out, because our funders like to know what we do with the money that they give us. So we do keep track of that. But we're happy to help with transportation. It's not an ongoing thing, so we aren't able to provide people bus passes for like long periods of time. It's usually a trip, maybe two, depending on how far people need to go. But yeah, we like to be part of the transportation solution. So.
Thinking of the transportation solution, I know we already talked about it, but if folks have not been down to our bike collective yet.
Good one, Carissa.
See, I'm going on 6 years in 2 weeks. I'm catching on quick, guys. But our bike collective is a really, really awesome space. I was just talking to one of our other staff members, Lindsay, who is my neighbor, about getting a new bike because I was saying my bike's kind of broken down. It doesn't quite fit me correctly. And it was really cool that we instantly knew that we could go to the bike collective and have that resource at our hands. It's a really great space to walk up if you have questions about bikes, if you want to get a bike, if you want to get fitted for one, if you want to ask more questions about like what's the perfect kind of bike for me, because I didn't know before working at the coalition that like bikes had sizes and that like certain bikes fit certain people. I'm only like 5'1", so like I didn't know that. I didn't know that I could have found a bike that was better for my height, right? So these little things that you don't think about. And our bike collective guru, Jesse's in chat, so thank you, Jesse, for your hard work. But the bike collective is an awesome, awesome space, and that's Mondays.
It is a cool. So yeah, Mondays from 3:30 to 5:30 is the bike collective, and then if you stick around, at least while the weather's nice, 5:30 to 6 is the downtown bike around.
You go on a little bike ride, test drive your new bike. That is, how that works.
There's also tools there. So if you are familiar with bike maintenance, and sometimes there are workshops for bike maintenance, you can use some tools and fix your bike, tune it up.
Yeah, if folks are curious and you haven't heard that we had a bike collective or you've heard about it and aren't sure how it works, it's pretty simple. Mm-hmm. Bike transportation in North Berkshire is pretty doable about 9 months out of the year, depending on the year, and sometimes you can squeeze in 10 and sometimes you only get 8. It all really depends on the weather. But we know transportation is an issue, and if you own a car or you have a car, you know how expensive transportation is when you have to pay for the car payment or the insurance payment, the gas, the maintenance, the licensing, the excise tax every year. Like, it adds up, and some of our folks, that's too expensive. They have limited incomes, they can't afford it, but they still need to get around. And so our bike collective is built to help people figure out how to get around. You can come in, check out a bike. If you find one you like and you want to just purchase it, you can do that. If you want to earn it for free, you also have that capacity. And so our bike collective guru, Jesse, and the volunteer mechanic, Jacob, that we have can help figure out what stuff needs to be done. You can volunteer time at the bike collective. You can volunteer to do things. And then that time equates to money off of your bike. Yep. And so you can essentially go out with a free bike if you want to. So.
What a great opportunity, especially for young people. My brain just went to that immediately. I mean, it's my work. It's where it goes. But I think that also it's a great space for young people to really learn these things so that you don't feel stuck somewhere. I think it's a really cool way to gain independence on your mode of transportation, right? Like if you ride a bike to school, if you ride a bike to youth programming that kicks off in October. Anywhere you want to take your bike, you can take your bike and go.
Yep.
And Jesse reminded us all that the Bike Collective is looking for bike mechanic volunteers as well right now. Yep. So if you're interested in that, if you have a passion for bikes, know your way around a bike, feel free to call us and we'll get you connected with Jesse because it's really, really cool. And we know that transportation comes up often when we were talking about our forums and those forum spaces, and this is just a small way that can make a greater impact that we can do to help support the community getting around.
Just options.
Options.
We love having options.
Options are good. And there's so many bikes.
There are so many, and then we just got new ones. We got more and new ones, and for a little while we were kind of, if you were a taller person, like 5'9" or above, really were sort of short on the number of bikes that we had. But I saw in this new round there was quite a few bikes for some taller folks. So maybe you went in and couldn't find one, but you're like, hey, I'm going to go back and look again. Please do. I was taking pictures of them for my son at college the other day to see if he wants to trade in for a new one, so it's a cool thing.
Bikes in there.
Yeah, there's some really cool ones.
Yeah,
I was playing with one of the gear shifts that's not on the handlebars, which was new for me. The gear shifts are on the shaft of the bike.
Yeah.
So you have to hold on and shift. It's very interesting.
Mountain cycling. I saw
they're
a
older
Bianchi
ones.
bike down there, and those are
what?
like a Bianchi bike, so they're usually used for road cycling and competitive cycling. I have a big passion for Tour de France. That's a weird fact for viewers at home. Really like Tour de France.
I
Really
mean,
like competitive road
hello.
cycling. So I
Who
learned a lot.
doesn't watch the Tour de France?
Okay.
Susie.
So
I love the Tour de
I
France.
watch like cycling when it's in the Olympics, but not like.
all right, so call in
Love
and
it.
tell Susie why she should watch the Tour de France
Yes.
and why cycling is a really, really cool sport.
It's very cool.
It is. But yeah, lots of cool options and opportunities. We're still looking for folks to call, more folks on Facebook. Feel free to also, if you see us live on Facebook, share that link out. You can share that we're live right now, tell your friends.
Yeah, we still got half an hour.
We got
Lots of time
so
to
much
chat.
Oh, it's only half an hour.
Oh, we're here
I
till
thought it
7.
was 7:30. I was
Oh
like,
no, we're only here till 7.
Unless the calls get jammed up and you break the line on us.
Which would be awesome for everyone who's watching.
It's true.
And my parents don't even live here, so I can't even be like, Mom and Dad are watching. That's not true. They don't.
I don't know what time it is in Scotland right now. It's late.
It's probably really late.
It's
yeah.
or very, very
it's 5
early.
hours ahead.
It's also,
whatever that is.
how many?
Yeah. 5 hours ahead?
That's it? Yeah. I thought it was more than that.
So like midnight-ish. Other folks watching on
so it's the
Facebook,
best
like
time
I
to call.
said, feel free to drop comments in the chat here on Facebook if you have thoughts or questions. We really want to hear from you all about, what we should be talking about. That September forum is going to be here before you know it.
Yeah. Something fun, if you are enjoying this show and you're saying to yourself, gosh, I wish I could be on a show like that. That opportunity is here. We have 4 openings at yes, 4.
Okay.
We have a family support and neighborhood development coordinator position open.
Oh,
We have a school liaison position open, a family support worker position open, and if you happen to be a licensed mental health clinician, you too could work with the Breen Center and the Coalition at the Coalition offices and be on TV. We will happily pull up a chair right here
So many chats.
next to me or Susie.
We'll squish you in between us.
Yeah,
Hold you close.
we're squishy.
We're squishy.
We do like squishy. But yeah, we have openings on our team, and we would love to fill them with passionate and, people who want to just help folks and be a part of the work that we do. We would love to add you to the team. So consider, maybe.
I will also say in this job, there have been more puppies and babies than there were in my last job,
Yes.
which I have very much enjoyed. And there have even been kittens.
Yes.
We have an excess of
If
cute
you like to
animals.
go to work where occasionally there are kittens and puppies and babies, this is the place for you. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And sometimes cake.
And sometimes,
I like it all.
we
A
hold
lot
the
of
record
cake.
on
A lot of
snacks
cake.
at our
Okay,
meetings
there's a lot
and-
of snacks actually in the
Yeah.
snack room all the time.
If you're somebody who really likes
There's
snacks,
lots of donuts.
we have those.
Yeah, we have some pretty decent cooks in our team.
That is
so
true, too.
staff potlucks are pretty darn good.
We do have a monthly staff potluck
Monthly staff potluck
/ meeting because we like to be efficient with our time and energy.
and eat.
And
We do
eat.
like to
We
eat.
do like to eat.
I don't know if anybody has tried the Liz Bolin Munster cheese spread.
I haven't.
It is. She's always good for that. She's the best cutter of Munster cheese.
She really is.
That is
And I
her
know that
specialty.
we joke a lot, but it really is. So I made the joke about being here. I'll be going on 6 years in September or October. And I've had some really cool time to reflect, right? Because you spend time in between places and you reflect. And this was my first big girl job, right? This was my first step into something more professional. I spent time waitressing, I spent time doing lots of different things. Those are awesome professions. Please be kind to your servers. It is hard work. So when I started at the Coalition, I had no idea really what this was going to be for me. And it's been a really cool opportunity for me to figure out what I wanted to do. And I think the different opportunities that you can get at the Coalition, get with just sitting with some of the staff and hearing the history and getting to meet them and getting to meet different community members and network and try things out and just be out there in the community is one of the coolest opportunities because I think I'm a little biased that last Friday I spent my workday at Jiminy Peak riding a mountain coaster. Really couldn't complain about my afternoon at work, but I think that there's lots of those opportunities to just really enjoy your day to day. And if you have questions about the positions that we have open or if you're just curious about what those look like, that information is on our website. Feel free to walk in, Our doors are open all the time. Well, not all the time. Our doors are open, Monday through
Reasonable
Wednesday.
hours.
Yeah, 9 to 6, and then on Thursdays we close at 5. Fridays 4:30. Just stop by, ask questions, about any of this. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and we are also available on the second and third Saturday.
Yes.
Ooh, Steph would be so proud of me.
That's true.
Second and
9 to
third
12.
Saturdays, 9 to 12. So if you are someone who's like, hey, your work time, I'm working, I can't get there, and you're off on a Saturday, pop in. We'd be happy to chat with you on a Saturday as well. You can see any one of us. It's like a random thing who's there on a Saturday. So
Yeah, it's like when you get like a surprise box and you don't know what thing's inside. Whatever coalition member might be inside. We're there. Yeah.
also, speaking of teams, working at the coalition is one thing, and being a part of our team sort of is there every day. But another team that's super important to our organization is actually our board of directors. We have a board with a maximum of 17 people, I think it is now, which is a lot. But we have several openings as people had to make some really hard choices during COVID times and after COVID times. And some people, have given many years to helping support our organization as a board member, and it was time to step off and allow other people and new people to get involved. And so, yeah, if that's something that you might be interested in and wondering like, hey, I was really looking to get involved and joining a board in the community for a community-based organization, I would be happy to talk with you about that as well. Susie could probably even tell you.
I was going to say, I used to be a board
I stole
member.
her from the board.
I think I started the board in 2009.
Yeah.
And I was a president at one time, right before I had Ramona. And I really enjoyed it. Like, I met the most incredible people being on the board. So the other board members were fantastic. And so I learned more so much about the community that I don't think I would have been connected to if I hadn't been a board member. It was really eye-opening. It definitely not ignited, but added to my passion for our community. And just meeting amazing people that are excited and happy to be working in the community and seeing it improve and are happy to lend a hand when there's an opportunity to do it because it makes them happy and it fulfills them. And I think that was great.
Our board is definitely what I would consider a working board. And so our board members are great. They come to events, they participate in things, they have often volunteered and helped and put hands in. So they really try to understand top to bottom how things go.
No?
I think she was so excited. She's like,
Susie, now that Susie has the power of the buttons, she cannot be stopped.
someone call so Susie can push the button, please.
I got to have a really cool moment where we had a new staff member come on, Gabby, who was actually one of my participants. I
Love
know.
Gabby.
Shout out to Gabby.
Hearts to Gabby.
Too bad you worked at your other thing today because I would have dragged you on here. It was cool,
Gabby's awesome.
that, when Downtown Celebration happened, that I got to walk around and there was so many of our board members at other tables doing community work, right? And it was really cool for her to walk around and meet our board members so casually. I think there's often this feeling that there's the board, and then there's a wall, and then there's the people who do the work. And I have never felt that with our board. And it was cool that Gabby got to pet one of our board members' dog and just have some real conversations about the popcorn being sold. And just I was really glad that she got to see that because I think when we hear, the board of directors, we get a little ooh, I don't want to cross any lines or see, But just seeing them as humans and people that, not to be cliche, but live, work, and play in our community, and they're just like us. So it's a cool opportunity.
Cool. How many people do we have watching?
Right now it is 3, but it's been going between 3 and 15.
3 and 15. Oh gosh, I hope the other 12 people. What happened?
It's been fluctuating off and on, and I'm sure it's people logging in and checking out things and then checking off.
Very cool.
What
else do we have going on?
Yeah. Yeah, if you see the link for this live, we will be live for another 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So feel free to share this link that we are live and get some folks to get their questions in.
All right, so I'm going to pose a question to Susie and Carissa.
Yay, I love questions.
All right.
Maybe.
Maybe
So-
it depends.
Considering the last year, and I'm just going to say caveat, you can't say COVID.
Okay.
What do you think the top 2 concerns are going to be at our community forum? What do you think some of the 2 top things that people are going to want to talk about this year?
My first one is mental health.
Okay.
I think that across all ages, it is the thing I am, not for myself, but that I see among my friends and neighbors. That is the thing that I think has fundamentally changed in a very crazy way that is a little concerning because it affects every other aspect of our lives. So for me, mental health, because we also don't have the capacity to really handle all the mental health issues.
Yep.
And I'm not sure what the second one would be. I think possibly housing
Okay.
or substance abuse, but substance abuse and mental health kind of go.
We would definitely tie those
I
together.
was gonna say, and housing comes into
housing,
you know,
Yeah.
three of them
Those would
kind
be
of
my two, or three, I
sit
guess. They're all.
together. This is a out of the park one. I think how to get involved and engaged in your community.
Oh.
So I think this year it is the most I have been asked, well, what's going on? What are events happening? Where can I go? What can I do, right? I think, and you said no COVID, but I think this was kind of one of the afterthoughts or aftermaths of everything, is people disengaged with a lot of their hobbies and felt kind of disconnected from their communities.
Yeah.
So I feel like people are still trying to rebuild, and however you want to understand that. But I think that we're going to have people asking about, like, how do we build again? How do we make sure we have these pieces in place? And I think jobs. I think people are going to be talking about jobs again.
So like workforce.
Workforce,
Yep.
both workforce development, workforce equality, and then just like some basic workforce skills that I think, you know, people don't always have and don't have access to knowing knowledge of. Those are my top 2 thoughts.
Okay, so ready?
What about you?
Oh. I can't answer that question.
Why?
Because I feel like
Okay, fine.
I would answer very similarly, but I try to stay pretty neutral in that conversation because I think it's really important to not put my
Sway your 2 cents in.
sway my
Get
2
it.
cents
Know
in.
that we weren't all sharing on this one.
I said I was going to ask you.
You know?
So yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to answer. I mean, I think mental health, substance use, and by substance use, I would say substance misuse, because I think they very much go together. I don't think one can be without the other. Oftentimes, our mental health impacts how much substances we use, because it is a way that some people cope, and that can go very wrong very quickly for some folks. So I definitely think that is a piece of it, linked to the workforce and the shortage of folks that are working in the helping system and at this point. And then I think, out of the box wise, because I like to have like one that's out of the box.
Yeah, same, yeah.
I would love to have a forum where we catch up on what's going on around the development of our recreational economy. Cool. It is something we talked about a couple years ago. We brought down Kingdom Trails, which for folks, as we were talking about cycling, if you don't know, Kingdom Trails is a biking destination, mountain biking. Cool. It's up in the North Kingdom of Vermont. And they basically created a whole recreational economy through really cycling in the outdoors. And so we brought them down, we listened to them. I know there's tons of effort and people have been working on this for a while, and I'd love to hear just like an update. The money for the Glen came in and we kind of celebrated that, but just sort of like where we are and get an update, because I think those are important things.
That sounds fun.
Maybe we'll go biking. We'll do a biking forum. Yeah. We need one of those like bikes that have like the you bike with like
the roll.
I wasn't gonna say
the rollers.
Well, like they're they're like like where you do them as a group, like a group biking thing. I was gonna leave that off, but
I won't.
Well, okay. Maybe a better example is
a coffee machine.
A coffee machine.
Well,
okay, coffee.
Weird
Candy
fun
machine.
Fact,
Candy machine.
The band Coldplay has been using stationary bikes with it to power the spotlights in their show. So before the show, you can ride the cycle for like an hour, and it helps, kick off the electricity in the venues. So if you're riding the bike in the middle of the show, you might like send some sparklers over, or like do something like that.
Interesting.
That's what we should do with our forums, right? So every time community members want to engage, you can ride a stationary bike and like send sparkles over us. Whoa, I like
so
that.
in the
Fun
past,
fact.
Brett and Amanda built the smoothie bike.
I was gonna say there's a blender bike in the
blender bike.
Blender bike,
collective. And if
You
you ride
can't
it,
have
you
the
can
blender
actually
Blend a smoothie.
Well, so I've got to say, like, my friends were actually interested in purchasing it because it didn't have a tag that said it wasn't for sale, and we were like, I don't know, I guess it's for sale. But it's fun because you can ride it and you can blend things in the back of it.
This is true. We
That's a
could
great
bring that
business
and
model.
everybody,
I
people
actually
could make their own
love the blender bike.
smoothies.
It works.
It-
You need to put the strap on the top,
yes.
but it works.
Yes, it does.
So if you would like to see that at our next forum, we'll switch off staff members on the blender bike, and you can get engaged that way.
There you go. All right, so flip side.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask the question. Those are the top like concerns.
Mm-hmm.
What are maybe for you, each of you, the top 2 things that you think are assets to the community or things that you have recently reignited your love for that would be fun to talk about?
Reignited my love for
Sort of on the point that like Chris was talking about. Like we had sort of this hiatus from life and now people are rediscovering things that they loved or whatever.
I think along the same lines as what Carissa was saying, I mean, and it's not reigniting my love, but it's maybe strengthening my resolve that it's important, is the event, like community events. Like I think community togetherness is really important, and I think all the events, like the MLK Junior Day, things like that, recovery event, like I think it's all important, and so like figuring out how to be able to help others feel like it's a manageable task to get involved in it. Because I think something happened during the past 2 years where people understand their boundaries better, which I think is great, but also like feel like getting involved is too much work and it's too hard, and they almost feel like even if they're not the leader of it, it's still a leadership thing. And so helping folks understand that these events need participation to happen. Like you have to get people involved. It can't be one person doing it. It can't be 3 people doing all of them, right? It has to be a group effort. You have to pick one that you really love and be committed to it and just part of a team. And it's actually super fun to do the work together.
Yeah.
But like figuring out how to help people find that again where it's not daunting and overwhelming, because with just, 10 people organizing one event, we all benefit from it, we all enjoy it, and then we all get excited about it and get re-involved in it. And I would love to see that, because I do worry about that, seeing what's happened the past 2 years and seeing things like fall off and less participation and less things happening. I mean, they're coming back now, but there's still a smaller groups putting them together. So figuring out how to help everybody else feel like it's a manageable task to bring these things back, build them back up again, and get involved, and not just be somebody attending something that's happening, but being part of the people that love making sure it's happening and planning it.
Yeah.
That's for me one. But that's also like, I just love events in the community.
Yeah.
That's a good one though.
It is. And it made me think of, I guess it's similar to yours, but hearing the the planning for the fall foliage parade, I know it seems super silly, but that was the event that made me realize North Berkshire was my home. It's a long story. If you ever want to get a cup of coffee, I'll happy to tell you the story. But long story short, it was the thing that made me fall in love. And something about that has always just been, wow, that's community to me. And I know I get to do the work, but as someone who also lives here and is a resident, right, like those things feel really important to me. And also new eateries, new restaurants, the new shops popping up and all the local businesses kind of here and there. I love it. Like the plant connector, sometimes I just wander in there because if you just need to like, look at some plants and feel really good, that's a great place to like stop in, and getting to try the different restaurants. And I know that Christos is under new management and they're doing awesome. And it always makes me happy when I leave the coalition offices on Main Street and I just see people everywhere. And I see them running around, I see them, in and out of Keith's store, down at the Berkshire Emporium, and, that's the thing that I think has kind of brought my love into the space. I didn't lose that love, but seeing the open signs, seeing the open doors, hearing people, seeing people get pizza outside, that felt really important to me, I think.
Sweet.
Real quick shameless plug for the Fall Foliage Parade.
Oh,
It
please.
is October 2nd, Sunday, October 2nd. Applications, apply at oneberkshire.com if you want to march or build a float or pretty much do anything. It's not like a approval process. If you just fill in a form, you're in. You're in the parade. The theme this year is Holidays on Parade, so pick your favorite holiday. It doesn't have to be a real one. It can be one you made up. It can be like a day of the year. Get your friends that like the same thing. Halloween, Christmas, what is Festivus? Is that the one?
Festivus? Yeah.
Whatever you love,
Yep.
get together and just sign up to be in the parade. It can be as scrappy or as extravagant as you want. It's so much fun.
We were talking about that actually as a coalition staff about doing the Fall Foliage Parade this year, and we kept joking that we have a lot of very passionate Christmas folks in our office, and so folks who are kind of neutral about holidays, and then me, who is just very in love and obsessed with Halloween. So I was like, it'd be such a funny mismatch, but then in my head I just said Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, that's good.
There's so many good ideas, and I just think it's so cool seeing all the organizations, waving to people, seeing some of the young people I get to work with, doing their cheering, doing there for their sports team, seeing them in a different capacity, I think is so neat.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Very
fun.
cool.
We have a group
Yeah.
of folk that build floats in the Windsor Mill, which is super fun.
Oh my gosh.
It's a ragtag group.
I love
With
seeing
ne'er
some
do
of
wells
the,
like Dick Alkenbright and Steve Moranti and
yeah.
Bruce Hayden.
Some people bring and make the craziest floats.
It's really fun.
I love that.
It is definitely
I could talk
something.
about that for an hour.
I know.
Sorry. I
No,
will
that's
stop
okay.
now.
I just wanted to add on, because I think in my brain what I was thinking was very similar to what you both said, and I think the participation and helping plan is super important, but also just like attending.
Yes.
And maybe attending other communities' events. We have lots of communities in North Berkshire, and there are pancake breakfasts, there are bingo nights, there are all kinds of things that happen in other towns. And I think it's always good to stretch yourself a little and find, go out to eat in North Adams, go out to eat in Williamstown, go out to eat in Adams. Find those places that are local to support beyond just, maybe the town borders that you live in. But being present, I think, is huge. I think I hear it a lot, and I don't understand it when people are like, there's nothing to do here. And I'm like, I don't have enough time to do all the things. So I don't understand. And I want to help people also feel like they don't have time to do all the things.
Yeah.
Not to the point of like being too busy to actually enjoy things, but really like I find myself almost every weekend having to sort of pick and choose. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Because there's options. And I would love for the community to realize we do have options. There's lots of things going on.
There actually are, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Adams and their annual Polish picnic.
Oh, yeah. When is that?
It is, I don't remember. I literally
It's
took
September
a picture
though,
of the
right?
flyer. It's in September.
September.
And if you've never gone, as someone who grew up in a very Polish household, getting to eat farm cheese pierogies and listen to a polka band really is just healing for an afternoon.
It is my understanding that there are some amazing people related to the St. Stan's school that make pierogies.
Yes.
they do.
It is
It's
a
a thing.
thing.
It's a
There's
thing.
like a
It's like a
whole
real
team
thing.
of people. They have a pierogi making day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it's delightful. And I know that Adams just had their book sale. Because Gabby was talking about it.
Oh, very cool.
Lots of different things like that. We do our best with our coalition Facebook page to just share any of these cool events or to let people know that these things are happening. Because we want all communities, especially because as an entity, we serve all of Northern Berkshire County.
We do. North Berkshire. Less than 5 minutes left.
All right. What do you want to talk about now?
I don't know. I want one more phone call. That's what I, would really want.
one more Facebook comment.
One more.
Since we're like, where's Mom when you need her?
I know. Where's all the peeps?
You comment on every Facebook post I do. Why not call into the show?
Very cool. Geez, what else do we
Can't
have?
always get what you
You know
want.
what? Maybe it's a great, piggybacking off what Carissa was talking about and staying informed, maybe telling people about our newsletter would be something.
Sure. So, first of all, every week we do an e-zine,
We do.
which is updates on what we're doing and what other community organizations are doing throughout the week. We try to do a weekly calendar of what's happening on each day of the week. If you have something you want to put in it, you can call our office at 663-7588 or email phzine@nbccoalition.org.
Oh, look at you.
Got it. And it's just updates for services or events that are going on. Most of the stuff that we have posted is free, but it doesn't have to be free. Anything that's interesting in the community, and again, Northern Berkshire wide, so Williamstown, Savoy, Florida, Clarksburg, Cheshire, North Adams, sometimes Lanesboro, right? Like where else?
We count Lanesboro, Hancock, New Ashford. You're all, I mean, we'll count anybody who wants to be counted.
And definitely please send it to us because I go looking for these things, but I don't always see everything because it's hard to find all the things.
Yeah. Which is a funny but good problem to have, except when we want to be able to promo everything.
Because there's a lot of things.
So many things.
But we also have a monthly newsletter where we talk about what we did for the month. This one is coming out soon. It's September National Night Out. There were over 500 participants that came out to Adams, Williamstown, North Adams, to the different events. There are some really cute photographs of children with their faces painted on this.
Yeah. which is the photos that y'all really want.
I really enjoyed it. The Neighborlies are coming up in November. The deadline for submissions for the Neighborlies is November 11th. The Neighborlies are a community recognition award ceremony. There are a gazillion. I think that's a real number.
It is. It is a real
Unsung-
number. At least in our hearts.
Yeah, unsung heroes in our community that do these amazing things that only maybe a few of us understand or know what they're doing that actually benefits and impacts the lives of the people around us in our community.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity to make sure that they're recognized. The application, you can either call us, 413-663-7588. It's really hard to do a link on a TV show, but maybe we can have it posted somewhere.
The most important thing I think for people to know is that if you know someone who's done something great, whatever it is, you should fill out a little Neighborlies recognition form and know that they will get recognized.
100%.
And everyone does.
And it will say why.
And we say why, but everyone that it's not like we call it an award, but it's not like we're not ranking them or choosing them. It's something where everybody who has a form filled out to recognize them gets recognized. And sometimes we have well over 70 or 80 recognitions, and it's so much fun. And then there's an event and meat snacks, and it's a lot of clapping and smiling, and our hands hurt and our faces hurt. So.
It's really sweet. And then as we're going through our year, we're like, oh, this person definitely deserves something for this. Like I know during the summer basketball league, which was so much fun to be able to watch. I love it. And
We're almost done.
there were a couple of times that the coaches couldn't make it or whatever, and the parents of the kids just stepped in and were like, I'm going to coach the team for the day. I mean, that's a neighborly. That's awesome.
I can't believe we're
at 30 seconds. Yeah.
30 seconds. What else can we talk
Well. So less than that.
Now I have anxiety.
Where am I going? Where are my hands? There they are. Bye, Facebook. But we're gonna sign off. We are rounding the end of the hour. Thank you, Lindsay, for calling in. Thank you, folks, for watching us on Facebook. Please join us on September 9th at 10 a.m., 85 Main Street at the Terra Nova Church space. See you soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.